Hey, everybody. Welcome to Courage to Change Recovery Services, little podcast. Hopefully, we've gotten over our technical difficulties and you can hear us. I'm here with one of our clients here at Nick's Place in Everett, Washington. His name is Favien. Thank
Hello.
you for joining us.
Thank you.
Um, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about your history and how you came to Nick's Place and just kind of anything that you want to say about your truth and your journey.
Okay. Did you want me to start like my earliest?
Wherever you like.
Okay.
Earlier the better because it's usually
Yeah,
the
I mean,
truth.
yeah. Mm, so I am a foster child. My earliest memory is about 3 years old. A lot of it will be based off of trauma experiences, but I do also have happy memories that I do have and cherish. But I would say more like vivid memories would be more of the harmful impacts that it's had in my life so far. So when I first got taken away from my parents, both of my parents are addicted to drugs and alcohol. Growing up, I obviously was a little one, so I didn't understand all the severities and the things that were going around me. So I could just go off of what my experiences. Um, but I do remember the first time that I was taken from my parents. My dad was selling drugs and doing a lot of bad stuff. And I remember sitting down on the couch and with my two older brothers. I believe it was just us at the time. Um, I come from, I have five siblings, including me. So it's five of us in total. I happen to be the middle child. And so, anyways, we were all watching TV and I just remember the front door just flying open. And it's fuzzy the way I remember it, but I know that it's true because it's embedded in my memory. And there was a lot of black figures that were just rushing in, screaming. And now that I'm older, I can put the pieces to the puzzle together. And we were being swatted.
How old were you then?
About 3 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember it. I remember them storming the home. I mainly really remember the when that door came flying open because I mean it shook me up, and that's how the I I think that's what cemented that memory was that door flying straight open. Not even flying. I mean, it just like a bomb went off for me. And I was 3 years old, and I remember they were yelling, and they were obviously looking for my father, and then kind of just like a blackout from there. Um, I remember then after that, I remember living or being put in the care of our grandparents. And that's where a lot more are really like physical, mental uh, trauma really begins for me and my siblings. Um, we were physically abused by our grandparents. Um, it I don't necessarily think about it, but it does like come to me from time to time, and it doesn't affect me as much as when I was like in like my late teens and early adulthood. I've learned to just accept for what it was, and but yeah, I ended up. I'll just speak on like a few things that they would do to us just to. I remember one of the punishments that they would give us. They would put bricks on the floor, and they would sprinkle rice grains on top of them. We would have to kneel on top of that and hold bricks as we were kneeling on top of it.
Oh my God.
And you could only imagine that it felt like an eternity for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember getting up when the punishment was over. Our knees were so embedded with the rice grains. Sometimes we would bleed from it being in our knees.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The other one was he would this is mainly the our grandfather um
Just
that
realized
was
that our pictures are reversed. And so I look like I'm looking at the wall. So we're going to do this really quick.
okay.
Oops. See, we're still working out our technical difficulties here at Courage to Change. Here we go. It was just bothering me. Sorry.
Yeah, another it's a I call them torture punishments because they're torture. And another one that he would fill up these big cups of water and we would have to drink all of that. You can only imagine like that we could have died from like water poisoning. And I'm talking like there he would fill up whatever was big, like a big vase or something. Those the big double gulps that you get from AMPM. They used to be different. They used to be like the hard plastic ones. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
This is like the like early going to the late 90s. And the time when they used to sell AMPM used to sell the ice cream.
Yeah.
I don't know if did they sell ice cream up here in
Soft serve.
Washington?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
And all this took place in California. And but yeah, and then another punishment which was the tying us up like a mummy and throwing us in a closet for who knows how long. We would wake up from a sleep because obviously we would be in there long enough to pass out and just wake up disoriented. And so things like that definitely affected me growing up. I'm glad that it didn't turn me into a serial killer.
Yeah. And so then you were taken away from your grandparents?
Yeah, so the thing that really took us away, we were so scared of our grandparents that we never really spoke about the the punishments or whatever was really going on because they had us pretty much brainwashed. And for us it was like a norm it was like normalized. So us growing up it was something normal and absolutely it wasn't. I didn't know that.
No.
That's my everyday life, you know. Um
You were so little.
yeah, pretty much got conditioned to living like that. So we thought that that's how everyone got punished. So when we went to school or wherever, we didn't really specify how we were getting punished. Like we would get hit. We thought we would be punished just like any other kid would. So, um,
And all of your brothers and sisters were there?
so yeah, they also got the same treatment. Um, my younger sister, she really didn't. She was treated more as a princess. Growing up, so like a little bit growing up with her was like we had a lot of animosity towards her because we were like, how come we get hit and she gets an ice cream or something, like gets rewarded and we get put in in a dark room and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah. But the thing that really took us away from that environment, I remember that my grandmother was the one that she also hit us too, but not as the pretty much the one that was the punishment enforcer was our grandfather. And he's by law. He's not our biological. My grandmother, she is our biological. She's the mother of my mom. But one time, I don't know, can't remember exactly what I did. Got She took me to her room, and actually, my mother was there. She was visiting us as she was working on. Uh, I think she was doing the family reunification at that time. And anyways, I was being punished, and she literally took the heel off of her foot and hit me with the stem part, the heel part of the heel.
Of a high
And
heel?
I have a scar right here, like on the top of my head.
Oh my
Cracked my head open, and you can only imagine how infuriated my mother was. And so I remember just bleeding. I mean, it was just coming down my face. It wasn't just a trickle. I mean, it was a stream of blood, and my grandma immediately took me into the bathtub trying to clean me up. And by that time, my mom was, I don't know, I can't really remember that. For me, it was so much chaos going on. I just remember the throbbing sensation and the lukewarm sensation of the blood just coming down. And then at some point, the police came, and I assumed that my mom's the one that called, and it was really hurtful because we were so scared of our grandmother that we would say exactly how she wanted us to say things. So when the police came over, um, I remember her telling me to tell the cops that I bumped my head from like on the bunk bed or something. And when you're that young, the police are going to take more of the side of the child, you know, because childs don't tell a lie in the sense, right? But I was coached to say something like that, and it made my mom look like she was crazy and just acting out, and that was far from the truth. And that happened, and I believe the next day the social worker came and mm, she took me into the room and made me feel comfortable, and I pretty much spilled the beans on exactly who had hurt me and how the whole thing transpired. And I remember that day we got taken from that home from my grandparents, and that were was our journey was to begin living with random other people.
Didn't get any better.
Now, from there, I remember me and my second oldest brother we were placed in a home with a lady. She was like she was of color, like Dominican, some Latin, and I remember them being nice to us, but we didn't know the difference because we're conditioned to like chaos happening in our lives. So we have like unusual high tolerance when it comes to like being treated unfairly because that's our norm.
Mhm.
And but we can tell the difference of it, but we don't know how to vocalize it or say, hey, this isn't how this should be done, you know? And so I remember one time, I can't remember if there's any physical abuse because I would remember it, but you can only retain so many memories. But I have a unusual, um, I guess, way of holding on to a lot of things that happened to me. And one of them was that I didn't finish my cereal, and I didn't finish the milk. I ate the cereal, which all kids really do, and sometimes they don't want to drink the milk. So she took me into the kitchen and grabbed the bowl and poured it over my head. Another one was very didn't make any sense. I remember I farted one time and I got sent to the room. So it was things like that. And she also clipped my eyelashes because we have, I guess, long eyelashes. So her daughter, it wasn't her, but her daughter would come over and visit because she had kids, and the kids would come over and play with us. And we thought it was normal, and we were like, oh, making it fun, but she was doing it more of out of a spite, like I guess, or in a jealousy form, because we had long eyelashes, and boys are not supposed to have long eyelashes. And so from there, I remember we got moved, and then my journey would start being placed alone most of the time. Um, my two older brothers were kind of kept together, um, and my two younger siblings were kept together most of the time. Well, the whole time pretty much. And then I got to experience isolation. You know, so growing up, I wondered like why I wasn't able to be with my brothers and stuff like that. And uh, so that's why nowadays, like it's like I really don't have an issue of being alone. I still crave company, but I like don't really doesn't really affect me as much as it did early in the days. But another thing that I do vaguely remember, or I remember a lot, was the times that I would have visitations with my mother. Um, I would have to be physically held back because I didn't understand like why I wasn't able to go with my mom, and so it was like a constant, you know, sadness that I was living in. And um, and then another memory that really kind of affects me, actually more than anything, out of like all these things that happened, was one time my aunt, um, she had gotten custody of us, and I don't know how long we were with her. but my mom ended up getting custody of us one by one, and because it was more known that I was more affected of what was going on than most everyone. They kind of made me like first priority in the sense. Um, my mom came over and she said that I was going to go with her, and you can only imagine how I felt. Like it was like, but my other brother he couldn't, and I was confused. And but when we were leaving, I remember being in the back seat, and my brother just we used to live in an apartment, and he was in the window on the top apartment. He was looking through the window, and I felt his pain because I get to go, and he doesn't. And that's I always it's just it's like it was like burned in my memory because I seen his sadness and hurt, like, and so it was really tough. I think it affects me older now because I can, you know, make sense of it. And at the time, it still hurt me, but now it's more impactful because like it makes a lot more sense, I guess. Or I'm not sure if I'm using the right words, but it affected me a lot more as I'm older than it really did when I was younger. Because that memory, it's like really.
Yeah. It's really hard for me to hear these stories.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to
It's okay. I cry
bring it to you.
easily. Um, I just you've been repeatedly traumatized over and over again. And when you came to Nick's place, I remember doing your intake and you were getting out of prison for violating a restraining order.
Yes.
And who was your restraining order against?
So the restraining order that I had was with the mother of my daughter.
Who you
She
loved.
absolutely.
And so one of your earliest childhood memories is being restrained from someone that you love. And then fast forward, you're getting out of prison for violating a restraining order where you were not allowed to go to the person that you loved. And I'm sure, that she had a reason to put
Yeah.
the order against you. You probably weren't in your right mind.
No.
And you said, thank God I didn't turn into a serial killer or something. But I just your story is unfortunately extremely common when it comes to kids living in custody and parents that have had drug issues, and it breaks my heart so many ways, especially being a mom.
Yes.
And I know that you have children.
Yes. I have four in total.
And where are they now?
So my first children was with the first. So I have two baby moms. The first one is she lives in California. So before I came here, Washington was in 2020. But before then, I'm born and raised in California, um, in a small town called Banning, and then all that going through all that history, and then I went to middle school and high school in a small town called Desert Hot Springs out in it's called the Coachella Valley. I always tell people it's more like I'm from Palm Springs or Indio. I'll say either or. Mostly people are familiar with either Indio or Palm Springs. Um, Desert Hot Springs is more on the outside. So you got I think it's the I-10, and Desert Hot Springs happens to be on the other side of the freeway, and that's where I met my first mother of my children. We knew each other all through middle school and high school, but we never dated. It was always platonic friendship. And then after high school, we ended up speaking on Facebook, and then we started hanging out, and then we became a relation. We ended up being in a relationship, and then ended up having kids together. But that also was another uh, toxic relationship. So I think that history repeats itself because I'm so it's used to it. I guess I acknowledge that that I'm wrong in a lot of situations and stuff like that. But yeah. So I have three children with my first baby mom. Or my first children were they were identical twin boys, and then I have another younger son with her, and then I came up here 2020, and then I got with the mother of my daughter up here.
Are your kids in California? Where are they? Are they with the mom?
So unfortunately, right now, they were with her when I had first came up. They were living with her, and um, I think last year is when the mom became a little bit irresponsible, started prioritizing partying and drinking and doing stuff that she shouldn't have done, or at least controlled in sense. And anyways, so she ended up having CPS called, open the case, and they found probable cause to remove the children from her care. So right now we're going through family reunification with my sons. So that's what's happening right now between them.
Are you hopeful that you'll have custody of your kids?
So it's hard for me to say right now. Me being in a different state, coming out of prison, showing the history of I was really want to say in and out of jail, but it's what it shows. Um, the social worker, we went through two of them. The second one right now, she's more, I guess, understanding. The first one was just she was trying to find every reason to keep our children away from us. Uh, but I would say me getting my kids, like I do want my kids to be in my custody, just because I don't party, I don't I don't go out to clubs, I don't go to bars. I'm more of a homebody. Been conditioned just to being at home. I like doing like curricular activities, so I think that my sons will benefit from that instead of living in an environment where they're just random people coming in and out. Um, but since I'm in a different state, the chances of me getting custody are a lot harder. But it's not impossible, but it'll definitely be something that's not going to be easily achievable.
Well, I guess I can tell you that your story inspires me as much as it breaks my heart. I would love to see more places for single dads to have their kids.
Yes.
There aren't a lot of those. Um, I think that's really important, and to create a self or a safe and healing environment um, for dads and kids to be together. And I completely understand reunification. I get it. Um, but when a parent is still toxic, uh, it doesn't really seem like that there's a good solution.
Hmm.
Um, you'd be considered a product of the system, you know. Um,
I mean, I fell in statistics,
yeah,
that's for sure.
with all of the abuse and all the trauma that you experienced, for you to have gone to prison seems statistically accurate, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so, without stopping the systemic causation of why we end up using or going into abusive relationships and or on the street unhoused, um, we it's like there's got to be a solution, um, but it starts with getting safe and stable, right?
Yes.
And so you've been here at Nick's place for
a little over a year.
Yeah, you had 6 months on your DOC voucher,
I did.
and then this felt like a good place for you, so you just kind of stayed, and now you've moved into a manager's
Yes, I was given
position.
a big responsibility as far as to um, enforce the rules, which it could be difficult at times, but I agreed to the challenge and I appreciate it because there's perks that come with it. But yeah, I mean, very grateful for Nick's place. It does feel at home for me. Uh, so like,
You know, at least you can't isolate here. You've got 17
yeah,
brothers upstairs,
no.
right?
But I have, I guess, the ability to really like close out the noise because I'm so used to the noise. I'm used to like sudden changes and um, even being in a room full of people, I can mentally take myself out of there. You know, it's a thing that I've been able to do since well, I started learning how to do it at a young age. So even though it is a crowded home, I still find my own peace within it because it's for me to be able to survive. So it's a definitely for me, it's like a survival tool.
Are you doing any therapy or counseling
So
at this point?
yeah, I'm gonna go. I've been kind of procrastinating on it because uh, just even doing this is just it's really hard for me to. I'm very open about like what's happened to me. It's just like who am I gonna share that with? Because sometimes I've kind of have told people, but they never really given me their full ear. So for me, it's like when I do give my experience to someone, it's like smoke. It's there and then it's not there. And it's not like I'm saying like for them to forever have it in their memory or just, but it's sometimes you want to be like heard and seen for what you've been through and also uh, to share that experience with people and let them know like I've been through like a really bad experiences, but I do have a lot of um, happy and fun memories. I don't just dwell in what's happened to me, you know, because I mean, growing up, I was always like a little bit of a class clown and stuff like that. And even now, it's hard for me to open up to like new and random people. But once I get comfortable, my personality starts to really come into full effect.
Yeah,
But going to the therapy, I will somewhere this next coming month. Um, it's kind of hard to find a therapist.
it is hard, and I'm sure you have state insurance,
Yeah.
and you might start working with one therapist and then change therapists, or get somebody else, and then have to tell your story all over again.
Yeah.
That can be really frustrating, and sometimes it's about mentorship or sponsorship. Finding a good sponsor, or somebody that just that you can confide in and get support from. uh, and at this point, you have become a mentor for others.
Yeah.
um, but I know that these stories are still, close to your heart, and an emotional trigger. And so, you know, especially, hopefully you do reunify with your kids, and making sure that these traumas are, uh, at least your nervous system is regulated, and that you can control this. I also don't have a really great example of what a healthy family looks like. And so it's the blind leading the blind often.
Yeah.
When we say, okay, so here's your life, here's your kids, and a relationship. We have no idea actually how to take anything like that on.
Yes.
And I can tell you're a very kind person, with a big heart, which is why you're great in a supervisor or manager position, with these other men, is because you can communicate with them calmly and authentically,
Yes. Yeah.
and I guess they say that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Oh,
So
definitely.
you're a superhero now.
I mean,
Got to find some hope in there somewhere, right?
Yeah. The only thing that really does affect me is a lot is not really being the parent who I always wanted growing up, having that at least one parent. I didn't really get to even have both. And so me not being able to do that for my kids, it really does get to me at times. Um, so I always tell myself I'm forever depressed. I'm forever happily depressed because even when I'm happy, I'm still depressed. It's
Okay.
just finding a way to really accept that and just like keep living and not really affect you as much as you would like it to.
Okay. So that's survival.
Yeah.
And I completely understand that. But what I'm going to say is yet, okay, you haven't had the opportunity to be that parent for your kids yet.
Yeah.
Your kids are still young, and no matter what age they are when you come back into their life, when you come back into your life, their lives.
Yeah. Like I'll be the first one to say like I'm not a good partner, or at least I haven't learned to be a good partner, you know, but I know that I'm a good dad. My kids still love me. They tell me, they verbalize it. They want to have communication with me all the time. And so at least I
What
know
do
I,
you need, Fabian? What do you need?
so for me, I've been struggling to really obtain full-time employment,
Okay.
um, which I do get like jobs from here to there, but um, it's not, it's not full time. They're more side jobs. I just really right now, I just want basic things, which is a full time car to be able to move around and then have my own spot. Um, that way I can bring my kids to where I'm at and be able to have a good relationship with them. And if I can obtain those things, I can start, dreaming of other things in the sense, even though I shouldn't think that way, but I just want the bare minimum basic necessities is what I've never really had.
What are your dreams?
Um, well, growing up, I was really much into sports, so my dreams, I loved basketball, and I was okay. I was probably a little okay than most other people. Now, my dream was to like, at least grow or go into the NBA, but I stopped growing at 5'9", so that dream kind of didn't come to fruition.
Well, unless
So
you're a point guard, right? Those guys are short.
yeah, but they're still a little over 6 feet.
Okay,
and
so
then
joining the NBA, we can take that one off
and
the list.
then
That's okay.
and then
That's
I transitioned to boxing. I did boxing for a few years. So I wanted to do professional. That didn't really go as well.
Are you doing any extracurricular sports right now?
No, other than I go to the gym. Um, I was thinking of wanting to be like a. I don't want to be like no influencer, but like a trainer.
Mhm.
But I just want to be able to have like my own like company or business. Um, at least I have right now. I have a skill which is commercial and residential painting.
Okay.
I still don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it's not one of the hardest trades to get into
Okay.
because
Well, anyone that's listening to this, Fabian needs full-time gainful employment. He needs a vehicle. Do you have your license?
so I've never had my license.
Okay, so he'll need to get his own
Yeah.
driver's license. And then if you had a place that you could have your children, the judge has said that you could have custody of your
Well,
kids.
yeah. They need to just know that it's a it's a home. It's a safe place for them to be at, and
Do you see how all of those things are attainable? I
they
understand.
are attainable.
It
But
seems far out.
yeah, it's been a struggle. It's for me right now. I know that it's not impossible, but it's also not going to be easy.
Sure. But that's why you ask for help.
Yeah.
How
I
are,
think
how
that's
are
one,
you at asking for help?
because I try to figure it out
By
first.
yourself.
And so, like, it's hard for me to. ask for help. I think I remember telling you one of the things that growing up, I went with like little like sayings, rules. I don't want nothing. I don't need nothing. I don't expect anything from anybody.
Hmm.
Um, so
That sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
yeah, that's. But it's helped. I mean, like it helped me to survive,
Yes,
but it also hinders me.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I know that there's like a yin and a yang to it.
Yes. So when our brains are in fight or flight, um, we're in a traumatic stress response.
It seems like I always choose the wrong fight or flight moment because
Whether to stay in fight or flight, neither of those things are good. Okay. So as you continue to ground and now you are in a safe environment
yeah,
and you are supported greatly, and everyone that is going to see this video, hopefully, if anyone is moved by what Fabian has said, reaches out and says, how can I help? And that we can come together as a community, because you represent all the kids in CPS right now,
yeah,
all the broken homes and all the desire to rebuild and get it back, because I know you can. And I will do everything in my power to help you. And
yeah,
we have an army of people in recovery that will also do everything in their power to help you.
yeah,
But you have to believe that.
yeah.
Are you
Steph,
worthy of that help?
I am like, but
Okay.
like like it's just it's for me. It's real hard to fathom being helped because like I said, I've always just experienced nothing but um, being told like I'm not good enough, or in the sense, or like so it's hard for me to accept that, even though I've been learning to accept help from people, and it's more of a, like a pride or ego thing, but I've been
Well, humility and trust. You know, you're not going to be able to do this all on your own. And so, you got a higher power.
I do.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I believe in Jesus Christ. I got baptized, I believe, when I was around 19 or 20, but I backslid, so I haven't been to church in quite a while. And but yeah, I do believe in a higher power for sure. Yeah.
Who guided you here and sitting here with me now and telling your story very bravely, making me cry. Thanks a lot.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah, no, when I was in prison, I thought that you're a lot older than what was it, Um, I don't know why. But that just goes to show, like, like my overthinking of how I view certain things, and coming here is in seeing that you're a lot younger. It made me feel more uh, comfortable because there's not like, even if there was a huge age gap, I mean, I feel more understood when I'm more in roughly the same age, being able to, you know, uh, but my idea of coming here, because, like I've never been in a sober living home. So it was definitely a change and also a whole new experience for me. But, being here, like I always tell, even when I was in the management position, the new people that do come in, like, this is a good home. You know, you're not really, no one's really breathing down your neck. And if you do get attention called on you, it's because you pretty much called it on yourself.
Hmm.
But I like this place because your this place allows us to be responsible for our own and not being hassled and babysat. And I think that's what makes this home work. Um, you do hold us accountable and stuff like that, but um, at least it's kind of like on our own terms, so it doesn't feel like we're being forced to do anything that we don't want to.
Yeah, we give you a leash just long enough.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those
You can
retractable
mess it up
ones.
if you want to, or you can ask for the support. So, well, thank you for telling your story.
Yeah,
This was very brave of you. And I hope you talk with us again.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you
So,
for giving me your ear. You know, this is new to me. Speaking to the mic or something like that. So,
who knows?
yeah.
Who knows? Anyone that hears this is supposed to hear it, I suppose. All right. Okay. Well, our website is ctcrecovery.org. Please visit and make a donation to help Fabian on his mission and the rest of our guys. Um, yeah, like and subscribe. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.